fantastic example. Making dubstep, which kind of appeals to the commercial market.
Don't patronise me.
Welcome to another episode of Jump Off TV UK Behind the Scene. We're joined by Poet, Lala, Chucky and Natasha. We're going to be discussing today whether it's better to be a signed artist or an unsigned artist. This is news coming from Krept Konan, obviously signing to Virgin EMI. So let's hand it over to the guys right now.
Congratulations to Krept Konan, obviously. Because, you know, they've been putting in that work for a bit and that. And it's a funny one because I do think it does depend on the type of artist you are, yeah? Now, on one hand, if you get signed, regardless of the deal that you have a massive machine behind you and with all different departments that specialize in certain things or whatever. But when you are an unsigned artist, you kind of have to plug into different mediums or whatnot to make stuff happen for you. Now, it could work for you because sometimes you get signed to a major label and it works for certain people. Sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes the independent kind of thing kind of works for other people. I think, like, for example, the best sort of situation for an unsigned artist is like what Skepta and them lot do at Boy Better Know. They got a business model that kind of works for them. Do you get what I'm saying? Where they can make a good amount of money off it and make a living. Whereas if they maybe sign to a major, a lot of the authentic stuff that they do might get taken away for them. But I don't know, it just depends.
But don't you think
for a singer,
I've just been talking about them the whole time on Jump Off when no one was rating them. I was rating them, especially my brother Cones. One Love, you don't know. Yeah,
And these are two guys who I have spent listening to since I was in the playground in my schools, and the MP3s would be on my phone and you'd hear a lyric from Conan saying, "Gypsy killer cone, run up on her, pull a trigger, leave him in everybody," like punchline kings of the UK, innit? So for them to sign to Virgin EMI is obviously a massive deal for them and for the scene because it gives hope and aspirations to so many different artists.
But don't you think, like that point you said about Boy Better Know, yeah? Don't you think that they've created that with Play Dirty? Like, don't you think?
Yeah, but they did that independently, and it's worked nicely for them.
This is what I mean.
They're probably making more money.
Stay with that model?
This is what I'm saying. I think for them, like that business model for them works perfectly fine, and they can make a lot more money than a lot of people would do if they were signed to a major.
Wait, are we talking about Play Dirty or are we talking about?
I'm talking about Boy Better Know.
You're talking about Boy Better Know.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now both situations have a ceiling. So the thing about it is, but then plus, look, Boy Better Know got Jamie. Now there's not, I don't know any more intelligent man within this scene than Jamie. So they don't Play Dirty, don't have a Jamie. Do you know what I'm saying? But what they do have is two individuals that are very, very hungry, very, very talented, and I'm so glad they got signed because now they could just focus on creating music.
Yeah.
When you're independent, there's just too much things to focus on. It stresses you out. You're trying to get radio play, you're trying to get shows, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing everything essentially. You're A&R in your project, you're a manager. There's just too much things to do. Now that they're signed, all of the dirty work that they don't even like, the emails and all of that, the label deals with that. Yeah. All of the things, all the conversations that they have to have about money they don't want to have, the label deals with that. All they now could do, go studio and focus on the most important thing, the music.
I just feel they've done so much on the urban scene. They've built such a rapport, they've got such a solid and strong and reliable and lovely, really nice fan base. I just feel like it's time to take that next step because it's only so long they can talk about the things that they're talking about now. With getting signed, it may bring on new opportunities, so therefore they might explore different parts of their mind and next year they'll talk about new interesting things that make them make, I don't know, potentially better music, more commercial music, different sounding music. They can get cheap holidays with Virgin now, if not they can probably get it for free. I just think it's a bit ironic that a label called Virgin wants to sign Play Dirty. It's a bit dirty, isn't it? Like, oh God, Play Dirty, but you're Virgin. It's like, I don't know, imagine you saw a nun giving head, you'd be like, oh, you're a nun, you're not meant to do that, I'm not having none of that. So, but I'm happy for Krept Konan. Play Dirty, man. Woo.
I just say, does anyone know what type of contract they actually have?
I don't think it
People are saying,
I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, because everyone's like, yeah, being signed is a great thing. It is a great thing depending on what type of contract. We all watched the TLC story.
I didn't watch it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think they would.
I'm not saying that, I'm just saying there are contracts out there like that.
I don't think that they're gonna get. I don't think they're gonna ever get ripped off.
I'm sure they won't, but what I'm saying is, depending on how much creative control they have, like I don't know how they used to work before, as Poet said, I'm sure they don't want to do all the, you know, the kind of menial, like boring,
Krept Konan
mundane,
done everything. Even that
mundane
mixtape
stuff.
themselves, that was all Krept Konan's idea. They done absolutely everything.
But this is the thing.
Hardly
But this
any
is what
help.
labels do. They kind of jump on a wave. Like they see, okay, they've developed a fan base. They developed this. They developed that. Blah blah blah. So for them to kind of jump on board and not kind of carry that on and take it to a next level, then obviously it wouldn't be worth them
But they
signing
might-
anything.
I don't know
So
what's happening.
we won't know until they put out more music under. Is it Virgin EMI?
Yeah,
Virgin EMI.
Okay. If you're quite happy to do the whole independent route and literally kind of, do the whole emailing, do the whole phone calls, do, all the little menial tasks that might take up a lot of your time, then go ahead and do that. Because, the rewards, if you're independent, are great, especially if you're selling really, really well. However, I totally understand why an artist would want to sign to a major label, because if they're prepared to look after you properly, as they should, all of that you literally can cut all of that out.
But the thing is, can I ask one question? Because I don't know, like for example, Boy Better Know, they're just too amazing. But it's like, no one in Boy Better Know that I know of, correct me if I'm wrong, has had a top 10. So I don't know what type of money they're making, but if I get a top 10 on a major label and you get a top 30, or a top 40, this is no disrespect to anyone, does it like maybe...
You make more...
where do you make more money? That's what I'm
Yeah, no.
Do you make more money
You
signed
can make
or...
more money. No, you can
This
make
is
more
not the
money.
question.
If you get a top 10, at a major
And you make a lot
label,
of
the
sales.
chances are, and you make a decent amount, a good... No, because remember, right now...
Because nowadays...
Nowadays you don't have to sell a lot
I
to
know,
get
I know,
high.
I know.
Yeah. But if you remember, like you can make, let's just say for example, you might sell a certain amount, and reality is you might only really be making 5p off each one, innit?
Yeah,
right.
that's true.
But if you're an independent artist, you might be making £3 off it. You might not sell as much, but you might potentially make more. It just depends, because
But then-
sometimes with the record label, the thing is where they are, I think sometimes better. They can kind of reach out to more people
And that's the thing,
whatever.
if you get a top 10, and okay, say I'm making 5p of every record, you've got a top 40, you've made the £3. Long term, am I not going to make probably more money out of my song than you are going to make out of your song? So if I get a number one, potentially that shows all up and down the country. When you look at it at the end of it, and I look at my record and your record, I would have made, I feel, maybe a lot more money than you.
Depends on the agent you've got. See, this is the other thing, because now when you're an independent artist, you've got to plug into different companies or whatnot. If you can find yourself in a situation where you are plugging into companies that are certified in what they do, you could get an agent that can put you on certain bills and certain tours or whatever it may be, the same way that another agent could do that for the major.
Because I don't know. Give me an example.
What do you mean?
Like for example, when I go
Make
festivals,
now.
I'll be honest with you. Although this is not me being mean, but the names that stand out for me are everything. The names that stand out are everything from for example, when I went to the Hackney Weekender, you've got like 5 rows. And the top 2 tiers is what you concentrate on. The headline act and everything just before. See everything at the bottom? I might be drunk, I might be having a little wank in the toilet, I might be talking to some girls.
I've got an example.
But do you understand where I'm coming from?
I've got an example.
Who's an example?
But I don't know. I don't know.
Top 2 tiers.
I don't know what her situation is, but Katie B killed it with festivals. Done. She was out and about. She's got a bad agent. She's got a bad agent, and she's not signed. Like a good agent.
Oh, sorry.
She's got a good agent, and that agent has definitely plugged her into situations, and she's been a headliner as well, or maybe not a headliner.
But I'm saying,
not.
Katie B,
Yeah.
that example there, fantastic example. Making dubstep, which kind of appeals to the commercial
Don't
market.
patronise
I
me.
want someone into working role. That's what I want. I want a nigga.
Alright, listen. Bring it back to Krept Konan where we decided. Do you think it's a good thing that they signed the Virgin EMI record? Or if you was in their situation, would you not? Would you not have signed it?
I think it does depend on the contract that they're on, because like you said, and like with the TLC story or whatever, you don't know how much creative control they're gonna get. But they did tweet, I remember they tweeted something about how like the guy that signed them said that they could make whatever music they want. But then again, I don't feel like is that really like.
See, this is the
Is that
problem.
something
This
they
is the
say
problem,
to
though.
get you to sign?
This is the
Like,
thing.
What
This is why.
They work with Tiny Temper, who arguably is the biggest underground or urban act there is in terms of
Yeah, but
rapping.
look
So
what
what
happened to
more
Tiny
is there for them to
Temper.
do?
No, but to appeal to a larger audience rather than just the urban music.
That's what I'm saying.
So they-
Like they need to.
Yeah.
There's no one else they can. The urban world, they've dominated it. I can go to anyone that listens to that type of music. They know Krept Konan.
Yeah.
But it's about going to Glasgow, where
Mainstream,
people know you
yeah,
there.
yeah.
But
It's
that
not the
goes.
local.
No, hold on one second. But no, poet. But that goes to what I was gonna say, because the thing is, now their A&R could turn around and say, yeah, I'm signing you. You could do whatever it is that you want to do. We'll just put the music out. But the reality is, when the music comes in, you actually really have to accept. And this is it. When the big boss comes, the guy that's ahead of that A&R or whatnot, he don't care about nothing else. All he wants to know is how much you spent on this project and what did you recruit. And if it didn't work out, then you've got to go. I'm still up and down with this signing thing and that, because I think sometimes it works for you and sometimes it doesn't. I think it just kind of depends on the, maybe not even so, it's just the agreement in it. Like, we all know that a record label has a massive machine behind them and they can help you do a lot of stuff, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it might come down to luck, sometimes it comes down to the team. It just really depends in it. You as an artist have to work out for yourself what is the best situation for you, to be with a record label or to do it yourself and plug into different companies.
You know what?
So that is on the point.
You've got to change the music that you're making,
Well,
which is like what I think I've heard Tiny
Change is
Temper.
compromise. You don't have to completely change and sell out. You need to come to a compromise. And from there,
Compromise means
change it up a tiny bit.
Exactly.
Compromise means change it up a tiny bit.
Let him talk.
I'm just saying, I don't feel they're gonna completely change, because you can't buy into a brand and then completely change it, because it won't work. They have already got a core fan base, and obviously it's working. It's just that they haven't been commercialized in a way in which the greater audience know about them. So we don't know if everyone knows about the music they're doing. They might actually like it, and through the label, they're gonna have that opportunity to find out if everybody likes it. So if a couple of warm-up tracks, you never know what might happen.
It's not down to them though. I think it's down to how brave the A&R is. Because you can sit there and say, yeah, make whatever it is that you want. When the songs come in and they got to sit there and discuss what song's gonna be the single, that's a pressure decision to make.
I totally agree with you. There has to be a compromise with their music, because they can't be making strip club music, because really and truly ain't no strip clubs over here anyway. I totally understand that. But me personally,
Secrets in Park Royal.
I trust Krept Konan, especially they're two intelligent boys, so they're not gonna go and go with anything that, you know, they're not going to get a financial benefit from, because they may play dirty to a certain extent. That has worked. That's a successful business model. I trust in them completely. Especially
But say a year down the line.
But do you trust in, wait, can I just say,
Go on.
do you trust in their label though? You trust in them.
But I trust in them. So I trust in the decision that they've made.
Ultimately, as Chucky said, if the label don't like what they've done, then it's not going to get put out. They're not going to take a risk.
But say a year down the line, if they're not putting
Well,
numbers.
then let's just wait, because I think what we should focus on is two boys from an estate that really and truly were probably told it can't amount to anything, and now they've been signed to Virgin, and loads of people were doubting them. They were just saying they're wordplay rappers.
We're not debating that.
But I'm debating the fact that really
We're
truly I would support them purely off the back of that, for one.
Even if they were to put out shit music.
But they're not going to. They haven't put out shit music.
How do you not come up with like a dance track?
Hang on. Oi, let Natasha talk.
Sorry.
They get millions of views, but that's what I'm saying.
I was just gonna say that like compromise is change. Like they've got their sound, and like you said, if the label doesn't see it taking off or whatever, they've got their core fan base, but now they're going to be reaching out to more people. What if all of those people don't really see that vision, and then they've got to kind of change up what they're doing a little bit, slowly down the line they're going to start having different music.
Like, I know like, whoa, oh my god,
Okay,
oh my god, you're white now.
I don't mean like a huge change, completely like start making, I don't know, like R&B and completely changing like that. I just mean like a simple change. Maybe they're going to come out with a dance track that's going to be their
They've
first
done it
single.
before. The thing is, if you know, they've done dance tracks, they've done songs with an acoustic guitarist, they've done all types of music, and they've got loads of views for it. That's why I say there'll be a compromise.
Feel my face or something.
Their core sound remains the same, but they have experimented. If you look at Krept Konan's history, like I have always looked at, you will see.
I hope that they don't leave the whole movement that they've created with Play Dirty and the whole, you know, community that they've created and a fan group that they've established through that, innit? If they're able to create their musical content and lift that up through Virgin, and they can take all the back luggage and they can focus more on the Play Dirty stuff with the merchandise, with everything else, then you know what, they're due to blow even more than they already have.
To be honest with you, that album that they just put out recently, I think the track number 2, I can't remember what it's called, banger. If the label put that out, if they were brave enough to do that, I reckon that would have gone 100%. I can't remember the name of the song.
Don't waste my time.
Nah, not that. Nah. It's the one where Konan at first, he's talking, not my story, but it's the one where he talks about his, when he talks about his props, he says, fucking, I'm going to find out right now.
But alright, if you was in their situation, would you have signed that deal, knowing that a year down the line, your music might not sound to what it was that got you
But
in
that's
that
anything
position?
you signed up. That's anything. You might as well sign up to
As
do
I said, it just depends on the contract, how much creative control I have. Like, if I was an artist, I'd be willing to compromise if I'm trying to go down the commercial market or trying to appeal to a larger audience. You kind of have to. You can't be like, I'm just going to stay doing the same thing. It doesn't make any sense.
I think in the UK as well, I feel like difference with, like you've got a lot of independent artists.
It's called the other side. Bro, it's called the other side.
Hang on.
In terms of the UK, I think it actually maybe is quite important for an artist to get signed, just because I just think there's a boundary that they can't get past if they're not like Krept Konan. They build up their fan base, and they've worked so hard, and it's kind of like, where do they go from there if they don't get signed? I just worry that maybe their sound is going to change now. I just hope that with the deal that they've got, that they don't have to compromise on what they sound like and their music style.
Examples, they do know what to do, like Tiny Temper. Yeah, they know what to do with him. Tinky Strider. They know what to do with Tinky Strider.
No, Tiny Temper.
Why don't I know what to do with Tiny Temper?
Changed his sound.
What, with the new album Demonstration? Are you talking about Demonstration or is
What do you mean
before
change
that?
what? He didn't change what?
Was he making music like his first album?
He was making all.
Yeah, from early. Look at Wifey.
Yeah, man. He was.
I don't feel
He was a
didn't sound like this.
He was a
sound.
collective. He was a collective with it from early.
He stayed with grime for like 5 months. I remember
Yeah.
doing Mission Rhythm and Bear. That was a big grime head. The moment he had the opportunity to talk about girls, he was
went
there with
and
the
did it.
VC jeans, the dirty long jumper,
Lacoste jumper.
the Lacoste. Oh, what? Wifey Rhythm Tears. Every song was about girls.
Big up Cleo.
Girls and that type of.
Big up Cleo.
That type of
She was the
sound
vibes
over
in
there.
Yeah, but do you not think that's? Aren't you talking about content? That's not exactly sound.
No, I'm talking the sound of it. Have you not heard the music?
Yeah, I have, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
Tears,
I don't feel like that sounds like what he's making now. I feel like what he's making now is just like
It wasn't too far
rapping
off.
about nothing.
I don't think
and
it's.
like,
I don't reckon it's too far off.
It's not too far off. It's
Not
not
too far.
No,
Yeah,
I'll tell
I
you
think
what
he's always
complete
been eclectic
change
with it from like.
I
A
don't-
complete change is Chipmunk's first album and Chipmunk's second album. That's a complete
change.
drastic. That's like raw.
That was too drastic.
That was mad drastic.
Confused the 11 and 12-year-old.
That was Michael Jackson 1986, Michael Jackson 2003. It was just
Crazy.
Whoa! What's going on? You
And you know
yesterday
the
you
worst
were
thing
white,
was the
you're
second
black,
album was
you're-
actually dope.
What?
The second album was the first album was dope.
Both of them were cold,
Yeah,
but the
but-
sound was such a drastic change. Chipmunk's cold anyway. He's gonna get signed soon as well. He's gonna
But he like actually he even said that getting signed was a bad thing for him.
Nah, he could get
No,
a
it
good deal.
wasn't-
He could
No,
get
but
a good-
didn't
It was
he
a
say he
wicked
was
thing.
trying to get
It was a
out
massive thing
of
for
what?
him.
All right, to wrap things up about the Krept Konan thing about artists being signed and unsigned, do you think they can take it? Do you think they can take it like Tiny have, like Dizzy have, like Krept Konan as a duo? Do you think they have the potential to now,
I
after
think
getting
they-
that record label back in,
Yeah.
to take it to the next mainstream?
I definitely
Yes.
believe so, but you know what? At the same time, I don't want to put a negative spin on it because I really like these guys. I'd send them nice text messages on just a normal one, right? No homo.
What's that?
But you know what? There's been a lot of people I've been excited about that's been signed and that ain't
And this
happening.
is what I would say is that.
Gonna make. There's no one like them.
Who they signed to?
Virgin
Virgin
EMI.
EMI.
I just feel like they've got no competition because like there's no one really like them, so they're in a lane by themselves. They created their own lane, play dirty to the world. You don't know. Yanini, big up Krept Konan.
I'm the voice behind the camera. I'm there during the debates, not just on the confessionals on the stairs. And if you do want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Well, they're really truly powerful because if you're powerful, you wouldn't get shut down.
True.